in Rwanda, the icon of a free Rwanda being taken through that, and he stands as those who, if you remember, in 2010, 2011, 2014, those who were brought from Burundi to come and testify, fake testimonies, putting Ingabire into what? Because of his association and his role in that organization that genuinely and rightly so supported Ingabire through the years. Thank you very much, Comrade Metal Sagar.
Thank you so much, Ali, for your insights. Now, I would like, with your permission, of course, to jump to the session of questions and answers, starting by Dr. David Himbara.
Me, I'm okay
Doc,
with that. I'm sure the doctor is always ready. He's
I
a
will ask.
professor, remember?
I
Yeah.
will ask one question, to Dr. Himbara, and the other question will go directly to you. Are you, David, ready?
Yes, please. Thank you.
David, some might argue that not all Hutu elites have been reintegrated, and not all Tutsi elites have been exiled, which is true. But based on your understanding, what pattern or criteria does Kagame use in deciding who to repress and who to reward? What should the public understand about this selective targeting?
For him, it's very simple. Toe the line. If you toe the line, then you're in. If you don't toe the line, then you're out. And whether one was Hutu or Tutsi, it's that same logic. Follow the line, or you're dead or exiled. Thank you.
Metra, are you there?
Oh yeah. I was on mute. Sorry. I'm asking this question. This question goes to you also, Dr. David. Many people still believe Kagame represents stability and post-genocide recovery. In your view, how has this narrative been used to justify repression, especially against those who once stood with him? David, you're on mute.
Yeah. Uh, I cannot possibly comprehend anyone today, 30 years later, 31 years later, who doesn't really know who Kagame is. One must be, I don't know. It's whatever measurements you want to make, use to measure, whether you international laws, African laws, African Union laws, United Nations. If I can, just to cite the latest, the UN group of experts, this man is a killing machine. Unless somebody is hiding his head or her head in the sand, I can't see how anyone would still be in any doubt about what this man stands for. He's a monster. He's a Dr. Death. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. David. And now this question goes to Ali. Mr. Ali, based on your knowledge and experience within the RANC, How do you believe Dr. Justin Senjuva was approached by the regime? Where and when you think those contacts might have taken place? And what kind of promises or incentives do you suspect were made to convince him to join the ultimately and ultimately serve as the prime minister?
Thank you very much, Comrade Metre, for that question. As you all know, if you're a serious organization, you must have some intelligence somehow. Uh, whatever you do, there are specific tools you use to get to be, first of all, to survive, but also to achieve where your ultimate goal. And in the key to this is to make sure that you navigate through the events that are occurring and you continue to grow as an organization. So you must have an intelligence that you follow. And those who are experts in intelligence, I'm sure, would agree with me that sometimes intelligence is not right. Sometimes it might be not the right things, might be someone concocting something, and that's why there is always counterintelligence. There is always this. There is always processes to follow to get information. So what you're asking me, I will try to give some information of what we knew, but we didn't believe that it would happen. But anyway, it happened. So you ask me the question: how does Kagame regime approach such people? Apart from the Tutsis, because I don't know any Tutsi, no Tutsi has ever told me that Kagame has approached him. But I'm categoric that all Hutus, elite Hutus, who are in exile, Kagame has in one way or another approached them and promised them to give them back the stuff they confiscated from them as if they're giving them free things, yet it is their rightful things like houses, things like property, things like, they promised them that. Even they promised them to go and see Rwanda as if it is a favor they are doing them. And these are Rwandans. Come and see. You all know about it. Even standing and taking a picture with Kagame, like the Guruvas have told you, and all these others. And he knows that Rwandans, we are the only species, I think, on this earth that even by taking a picture with Kagame, they take it as a big deal. Even by standing with Kagame or shaking a hand with Kagame, they take it as a big deal. And that's the unfortunate bit about Rwandans. So he has mastered to learn Rwandans' weaknesses, and I don't know what has caused it, whether it is because of our history, whether it is because of what we have gone through. So he picks he does he exploits that weakness Rwandans have of lack of self confidence, of lack of understanding that even a president is after all human, and anyone can be a president, but also of knowing their rights as Rwandans, that uh, uh, if the property is there, it is mine. There has to be. I have to fight for ways to put a mechanism or systems that I have to claim my rightful my rightful things through those systems, like other human beings on this world do, other countries do, other citizens of other countries do. So for Rwandans, it is as if they are begging Kagame, and they show him, they're begging him to accept them, have their properties. That's why you hear when Kagame gives them, they are given a post or they are promoted, they thank him as if they didn't deserve that promotion, as if they didn't deserve that job. And they are Rwandans. But they tell you, well, if it was not for Kagame, I wouldn't be this. So there is that mentality that has crept up. This situation is not helped by when you see certain elites, like the case in point of this Dr. Senjumba we are talking about, who has a doctorate in economics. That means he could work anywhere. He had acquired a British nationality. That means he would fly anywhere. But he surrenders that to go and claim the properties he had in Rwanda, to go and be told that you are my servant. You heard Kagame talking about Ngirente. This Ngirente was an advisor to the executive director of World Bank. He was one of the advisors. But Kagame says that Ngirente would come and ask me, what should I do? Confirming what uh, what uh, what Dr. David told us, although it was sarcastically, but he told us that you ask Kagame, Mr. President, how do you want me to advise you? So Ngirente would go to Kagame. Ngirente is the economist. He's the educated one. But he would go and ask him, what should I, Ngirente, what should I do? And Kagame comes and talks about it. And Ngirente would say, okay, I'm going to do it. So if Kagame says, Ngirente, and Kagame tells him, go and kill, go and shut that school, go and shut those churches, go and do this, Ngirente would go and shut them. So he has learned that Rwandans have that weakness, which I don't understand what causes it. Some say it is because they love Rwanda so much. But when you love something too much, too much of anything is wrong. You must be able to step back and reason and say, hang on a minute. Do I really, as a Rwandan, need to be done a favor to go and see Rwanda? Who denies me to go to Rwanda under my free will? Why should I ask permission for someone to go and see Rwanda? And yet they are encouraging foreigners to visit Rwanda. That's what you should be asking yourself. Particularly people who have the critical thinking mind, people who are educated. But for Rwandans, when it comes to that, I think the education is thrown somewhere, and their critical thinking is dumped somewhere, and then they follow. So Kagame knows it, and he taps in them. So nearly all Hutus, Kagame has approached them. They will tell you, I will offer you this. You come, please. I'll do this. Come to this. So a few happen to give in, and they go. When Kagame is talking about people driving lorries, people are carrying boxes, it is trying to show those people that they should live where they are, and he's offering them a better thing when they come. So he follows that by coming to convince them that I'm going to make you a minister, I'm going to do this, and you have known very many who have gone, they have got appointments for only a year and so, or even one was a minister for 4 months, and then he chucks them. There are many who have gone, and the ending hasn't been good. So that's how he does. That's how he does it. Unfortunately, for us as a people, Rwandan as a people, he comes and manages to do it. He comes and manages to do it because people, Rwandans, are never patient. They think change should happen there and then, and they think change should happen without them putting in an effort. I'm glad you started this discussion by giving Dr. David a chance to explain, galvanized, put together, coordinated, make sure that he put together a strong unity among Rwandans who were before not united. The Rwandans want it easy, and they can sell their soul, and they do sell their soul in such things. So this is the case in point. So that's how he approaches them. And for this case, based on our intelligence, what happened was this: when Dr. Senjumva Justin happens to be a friend to Manasseh Shuti. So when Manasseh Shuti was made the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, that's bringing him back from Gatebe, he convinced him that he convinced him, you all can also come. And then he was given, he said, yeah, you can do what you can come, and you have your staff, and you do this and all that. You have you know, and apparently he was given in Zawamwita, who was by then the head of national NISS, to come and manage him, and he was the one managing him. But the condition, for Kagame is destroy the opposition, destroy RNC, and weaken it or make it fall completely. Then, we shall reward you abundantly. What I'm saying, you heard yourself from, if you heard the tapes of Jack and Ziza telling someone who he was trying to convince to go and kill General Kayumba and late Patrick Karegeya. He told him the president will be happy. We are going to reward you. You will be accorded what? That's how they do. So they approached him, and Zamwita managed this guy, Justin Senjumva, and the rest is history. Little does Kagame and the Senjumva himself, Senjumva, I'm sure he knows. He was taking he said, take advantage of this. They know that RNC, Rwanda National Congress, is an idea grounded in three things: unity of Rwandans, liberty of Rwandans, and lasting peace of Rwandans. To have lasting peace, you must have your fundamental rights. You must have rights to your property. You must have rights to all things that human rights bring. You must have a government that gives you education, guarantees you good health, does all these kind of things, but guarantees you protection of your life and your things. So it is an idea, and it is an idea people will join, people will like. They might be fearful, they might be what, but it's an idea that is working. Then RNC has people who come and give it ideas, and they go and build on those ideas to make a strong case. I told you a while ago that Dr. David here, once upon a time in 2015, explained to me what governments stand on, and told me what we as people in opposition can manage to weaken, to incapacitate in the sense of the government. He told me it stands on diplomacy. We can do it if we have the will, we have the proper planning and all that. And boy, I'm sure you see that we have done a great job. There are things we do that no one knows, but they do happen. Kagame himself thinks about them. When he comes to tell you that we the victims are now called perpetrators, it's all to do with exposing, and through diplomacy exposing all that. It shows you that he's feeling the heat. When certain actions are taken against him, he can't go to universities now to get the awards he used to get. It shows you that, yeah, you guys are doing great job. People are doing serious work. So RNC, he will come and take one person, but RNC will have three more people who are even better than the person he has taken. I'm sure members can see that Senjumva has gone, but we have got another more than one Senjumvas, more than one person who are good enough to champion or to push forward our agenda. So, although he has approached one and taken him in the way I've explained, it won't stop. We also get people who leave Kagame's reign and come. Others are still with him, and we need them to be there so that they can make us work, like I've told you, to make our intelligence work, and therefore know how to fight him the way we do it well. Uh, for us to get information for diplomacy, there must be insiders to give it to us so that we give it to the powers to be, and then they take action, which action I think Kagame is already feeling. So I don't know if I've answered your question in the satisfactorily, but in short, he exploits the weaknesses Rwandans have as a people. He exploits the fatigue people have had while in the opposition, but he also exploits small divisions that people might have because they sense that this one is not happy. Then they go for him, convince him, and promise them heaven and earth, and people are easily bought, and they go. And most cases doesn't end. It doesn't end well.
I would
Most
like to I would like to support Ali with a statement.
thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Uncle.
Yeah, Ali, yeah, thank you so much. Really, as you were saying, don't be discouraged. Let us not be discouraged. This is not what the message, our message today is about. Our message today is yes, we operate in a tough environment with an enemy to political parties and civil society, with an enemy, Kagame and his regime, determined destroy us. But this is not time to say, oh boy, he has spies, he's taken one of us. Let's stop. No, 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 absolutely not. This is the time actually to work harder. In case of UK, let me remind Ali, we did great work.
And we have built on it, David. We can catch up.
Ihanganeho,
Yes.
Ihanganeho,
Mm.
we did great work, and the work continues. Let me tell you how it continues, and let me remind you of what we did. Do you remember how we trapped?
Please, please, I know where you're going.
Do you
Please,
remember
I
how we
know.
trapped Karenzi Karachi?
Please, don't go there. We shouldn't give our details. I
No,
mean,
no, 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 no.
no.
Kagame found out that his chief intelligence was in prison after the fact. We had already done our homework and executed it.
Tell them about Ndahiro being banned from coming to UK.
Just
They don't.
wait, sir. Wait, let me. No, okay. We marched Kagame and his supporting ministers in UK at the government, some of them anyway. We defeated them on BBC one-on-one on BBC, hands down. We even went as far as daring to demonstrate in front of his embassy. He said, come and arrest us. And you know what? It did not matter that we were only 3 people. As you said,
We were 4.
oh, sorry, 4. So, as you said, you see, the struggle is an idea, is an ideal. If one dies or is knocked off or or sells out, then people will should come and occupy the space. UK, you guys have continued to do a great job. Deputy Lamy, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, is in our corner, congratulating Tshisekedi, but even forgetting about Kagame, not mentioning Kagame. The British newspapers, the global power, the Economist, is in our corner. If you see what they write now about Kagame, the Financial Times used to we used to work together and give them permission to mention that we said this and that. Come and buy and buy. So let's be clear. When we say that Kagame is enticing Hutu elites, it does not mean that all the Hutus are sellouts. Absolutely not. The Hutus are the majority of our population, as well as in this population of the people fighting against the regime. I can see my beautiful wife there, Martha, listening to me. Yes, she's there. Your father, great Hutu leader, is proud of you and I because he was in my body. He was my friend. That's why we will love you all the time, forever. Gabriel, the young man who dreams about revolutions. Revolutions are not revolutions are about revolutionaries. I repeat, revolutions are about revolutionaries, about people. In our case, the revolution was not RPF. Rather, the revolutionary was a beautiful man, Rwigema. These ideas don't die.
Thank you for stressing it, because I couldn't put it better than that. He's
Yes,
dead, but his ideas haven't died.
yes, and just like the same thing should be said about the Tutsi. The Tutsi, so called, we have bad apples and great human souls, and the great human souls being blessed by the Rwigema in heaven
Will prevail.
are the strongest and are not going anywhere. So let it be clear that this session, Kagame politics, elite Tutsi, elite, exile Tutsi elites, reintegrate Hutu elites, this leaves us, the people of Rwanda, the Hutu and the Tutsi and the Twa, very much intact, determined more than ever to bring back the revolution, the revolutionary concepts, the great men and women who went ahead of us founded, including those who are forming new ideas and even improved ideas. In other words, what is the magic word? The struggle continues.
Continuous. Aluta continua.
God
Saluta
bless.
continua.
God bless.
Thank you very much for complimenting and really putting it better than I had put it. Yeah, yeah. The idea, it is an ideal. RNC is an idea. It's an ideal, and it lives on. It's like these people who think Rwanda is that geographical spot. No, Rwanda is an idea. It's bigger than that small land you see. I always tell people, but they need to. That's why I am glad and I want to thank you, Maitre, starting this with the song of Bob Marley of redemption. Emancipate yourself. We need to emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery of being submissive, of being cowards, of accepting to be conquered by fear. We need to accept that fear is human, but perpetual fear is not human. Human beings adapt and conquer the fear. They overcome their fear and then they claim their ground. That's what human beings are made of. We can't continue in this way. So for that to happen, as David has put it, we need to have revolutionary minds and we need to have a belief, which we have in RNC, that we are going to win. And we are winning. We have beaten Kagame in many areas. See the time of the thing of these migrants. The migrant thing proved that we can beat anyone on a given day. As long as what we are doing is factual, it is based on principles, and we can prove that it is what we are fighting for can result into sustainable peace and prosperity for Rwandans. What Kagame is doing is unsustainable. It's not. It's not. And it has to end. And for it to end is for Rwandans to emancipate themselves from the mental slavery of thinking that feeding your stomach is all that makes a human being. No. Human beings were better than that. There is more to the stomach. There is more to property. There is a legacy you leave behind. Properties die, properties crash, properties get burnt, properties are stolen, properties can be lost. But a legacy is never lost. We continue to sing about Rwigema. Others sing about their champions, maybe Kaibanda or maybe who. But these people, they don't think about the properties they left. No. They think about the ideals they had. And that's a legacy. And that's what we talk about, emancipate you from your mental slavery. Nobody should be a slave of Kagame. Kagame is just a mortal thing. He's going to die. And he's even struggling for his life. But Rwanda will live. These ideas we have are going to live. So, in short, Metre, Kagame and his clique exploits weaknesses of people, people who are not patient, who don't persevere, and who want quick fixes. And quick fixes, you all know where they take us. We in RNC, we try to inculcate this, but of course, sometimes some people give in and they surrender, particularly when they are sweet talked and they given imaginary dreams of being whatever they are. He's a permanent secretary, but I mean a minister of a prime minister. But prime minister under what situations? What is going? How is it going to end? This is a man who was mad and talking when they had imprisoned the Faustin Kundo's wife. He gave a powerful speech. I have it on recording. And now he goes to in bed with the same government, yet it hasn't changed. The same government is kidnapping and disappearing people like they disappeared Violet Wamahoro Kundo's wife. The same government that is full of the jails are full of people. Like he himself, one time he was in jail, and you go and be the leader of that government. It's madness. But that's his choice. We are going to fight him. I mean, to fight his policies. We are going to fight his government until change comes. So nothing has changed in RNC. Actually, we have been galvanized and we become stronger. And we tell, that's why I took time to apologize to our partners, because he was one of us. Maybe he worked with some of them, and they might be fearful that maybe he has taken certain details. There are no details he has taken. Whatever we are doing is in the open. Dr. David has told you a bit of them. I'm telling you some of them, and you will see very many. The key thing is when you have someone in there, what they do, it is better they go than stay with you, because when they are in, whatever they do, they know they try to uh, stop it and do what. But we have a mechanism where we do certain things in clandestinely. Unfortunately for Rwandans, again, they don't understand the thing where they call all this to solve to address all this. It is using the mechanism they call need to know and need to withhold. We in NNC, we know, we adapt it, we use it, but some people, of course, I know they try to abuse it and say, oh, we hari ibintu murakurikira gusa ntago mubizi, that we are just following, you don't know. You need to know when you need to know, and you will know. But when you don't need to know this thing, please let it be done, and then you will see the results. Thank you, Comrade Metere. I've spoken a lot. When I speak, I don't end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ali, for your contribution. And now I would like to open the floor to the members of the audience. Uh,
Can I start, Metri, if you don't mind? Uh,
okay.
because I wanted to ask a question to Uncle David, and I think I have a couple. I think two questions. One is, Doctor, you mentioned about President Yoweri for how he have managed to live with his comrades that fought with him. You know, the struggle to liberate Uganda. When I look at the time frame of both the struggles of Uganda liberation and Rwanda, actually they look to be the same. They happen to be almost the same time. You know, I think Yoweri Museveni 80, then 86, and then 1994. Yeah, the difference is a little bit of like 2, if not 1 year around there. So, but the way President Museveni treats his comrades, whether it's the one that he fought with in military and other who supported him financially. I mean those in civilian life, and then the way you made it, trying to show Museveni how he's been with them and other, they're still serving in his military and in some other positions. But then when it comes to Kagame, it's opposite. He just actually killed them. So he doesn't have anyone who supported him financially. You mentioned all of them, most of them, if not all of them. And then in military, we see what's happening. Now, what causes Kagame to behave the way he behaved? And, in different than Museveni, the way he behaved. And how can we, if you can answer, but I don't know if it's this has to do with maybe it can go beyond to you know we're not doctors. We don't have a doctor here who can even help us to understand maybe what the cause could be for Kagame to really have this kind of not having his buddies and his comrades with him, even to share the legacy of the liberation of the countries being together until now. But for him, he wants to be by himself, and where he's the only man left, but the rest are history. They're gone. And what causes what's causes him to behave in such a way? And the second question is goes to also you mentioned it. It's actually I know there are Tutsi elites also who uh, do the same and happen to have been in exile and even been in the same way of exposing Kagame's dictatorship and all kind of things he's doing to run this and um, they went back and joined him in his government. They are there, but right now what he's doing actually he's putting mostly Hutu elites, those who were in exile, bringing them to join him in his government, in brutal government. I don't want to go back to name all of them because you did. So is it because they are the Hutus, for him they are easy to be manipulated and easy to be convinced to join him when it comes to uh, especially like in this time where the world is actually not even on his side because of what he's doing, not only in Rwanda but even across the Great Lakes. Even it even goes beyond the Great Lakes where he has committed a lot of crimes. But why the Hutu elites decide to join him at this moment? Uh, is it because they are guilty of maybe what they've been blinded to in what happened in 94? Or why is it, are they the main target, if I could put it that way? Thank you, Doctor.
You a GM no shachi.
Yes, sir.
No shachi.
Yeah, Ngumire.
Okay, let me try to answer your questions. Okay, before let's first look at who Kagame is left with. His government of yes, his cabinet of 34 people or 35 people, including the prime minister. There is only one man who came with Kagame, who began with Kagame in 1994. Only one, and that is James Kabarebe. Imagine that. Only one.
But James was his escort.
Hold on, sir. Only one person in this government of 25 people began with Kagame in 1994. One person. There is another one who was just resurrected a week ago to head the mobilization and reintegration commission. And who is that? Jack and Ziza. What do these people share? They are killers. These are Kagame's killing machines. Absolutely. From then until now, the blood of millions of people in Rwanda, Congo, and overseas are on these three men's hands: Kagame, Kabarebe, Nziza. These are killers. What motivates Kagame? Say compared to Museveni. Let's compare. Let's use the knowledge that we have that doesn't require a doctor. Just research the knowledge. Let's look at the two individuals. Museveni is a land man. He's a university man. He's a scholar of economics and politics, and a scholar of revolutions elsewhere. And then the people he surrounded himself with were like minds, bright people, including our very own Rwigema, a heavy intellectual, not only in book sense, but in the practical sense, a revolutionary who fought in Tanzania, went even to Mozambique, Frelimo revolution, came back to Uganda with Museveni, and became one of the top generals. Was it not because he was a Rwandese of origin? Rwigema was at the very top in Uganda's military. And all the other people Museveni surrounded himself with, they were specialists, they were experts, and they were human beings that cared. That is the history of Uganda leadership under Museveni. Intellectual, academically, accomplished revolutionaries in the field, proven in the field, not only in Uganda but elsewhere, and then came back, defeated an enemy, and rebuilt Uganda. It remains a dictatorship, yes, because one man remains in power for 40 years. But nonetheless, this is a dictatorship that does not matter, proven by the fact that the originals, they call them the NRM originals, are still there. Even those who went into exile because they suspected Museveni was grooming his son, they came back and live in Uganda today. Chiza Besigye, I know for a fact that some of his petroleum companies refuel even government vehicles. The fight between the two men is political. It does not lead into killing him or killing his business or preventing his family for excelling outside. Chiza Besigye's wife is in the top leadership of the UN. You think Kagame would have allowed something like that?
No.
Absolutely not. Okay, so now,
Not at
okay,
all.
so now let's go to Kagame. So that is Museveni. So now let's go to Kagame. First of all, he is from the Tutsi elite family who originates from Queen Rwigema, the dictator who killed the king and killed hundreds and thousands of Tutsis. The first genocide of Tutsi was by a Tutsi, Rwigema, Kagame's great grand aunt. So that is his legacy. Then his father was a elite in Rwanda, close to the King Rudahigwa and the queen. So when Kagame's family flee, he's a boy. The father, who was elite in the top ruling class in the Tutsi aristocracy, could not go and work in the fields in the refugee camps. So he went on his bed and said, "No one touches me. I'm going to lie here until I'm dead." He died in bed, and his children started struggling, trying to feed themselves and the wife. Kagame, like all of us boys who came as babies and kids, goes to secondary school, fights with everyone, is expelled, goes to Kampala, expelled from military school, goes to Kampala, drops out of high school, becomes a money changer on the streets, a thug selling cash on the streets. That is where Rwigema found him and said, young man, please leave the streets. Come and join the struggle with us. Kagame joins the struggle, but he's unqualified and a thug, a coward who can't even fight, who can hold a gun. So Museveni assigns him to spy, to do intelligence work. After the struggle, Rwigema excels, goes to the top. This one remains a spy, not a good one at that. They send him to school overseas, trying to see if he can make something out of himself, to become a real soldier. He comes back, massacres the entire leadership. From day one of the struggle, Rwigema and his colleagues die. The street thug becomes the killer in charge. And from then onwards, he killed and killed and killed and killed and killed and killed. Museveni, 40 years on, all his historicals are there. Kagame, 31 years on, all he's left with is two killers, Kabarebe and Ziza. So, to answer your question, you have a revolutionary on one hand, with all his minuses, with all his tragedies and mistakes. The people who fought that revolution, they live to this day, including his own brother, Salim Saleh, who was the best friend of Rwigema. By the way, was it not for Museveni and Salim Saleh, Madame Rwigema, Rwigema's wife, and his children would not be here today? Rwigema family, including Gisa Jr., would not be here, wouldn't be here were it not for the intervention of the Ugandans, President Museveni and his brother Salim Saleh, who did all they could to save this family. So Comparing the two, it's like heaven and hell. And I repeat, I'm a Democrat and I hate dictatorships, including the dictatorship of Uganda. But I have to call a spade a spade. One is a dictatorship in Uganda, the other one is a killing machine. It's a monster. Now, GM, I answered your first question. Now I have forgotten the second question.
The second question was about the. But I mentioned that we have also Tutsi elites who
Okay,
went to the other side. But also, what is the, uh, you know, the what is the problem with the Hutu elites
okay.
to be easy to be manipulated by this government?
I answered let me answer it like this. First of all, Kagame hates himself and the people from him whom he comes from, the Tutsi. He hates them. The irony of this, the irony of this is that some people say, oh, that, those who are influenced by this idea that my dictator is better than yours, they think that Kagame hates the Tutsi regime. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this goes back to his roots, Kanjogera. They hated the Tutsis, especially for them, even they go deep into the clans. And as I said, the first genocide against the Tutsi was by Tutsi. Kanjogera, Kagame's grand aunt, wiped out the Tutsis. And the people around him, Kagame, around him, the Tutsi, he not only despises them, but also he fears them, especially any of them that are intellectually equipped. Kagame would rather have a Hutu elite on his side or even a foreigner, because most of Ugandan institutions now are either foreign or Hutu led. Because you see, he thinks that that is one sure way of total control where he can execute power, violence, and death without any explanation to anyone. That is why you'll find it very, very difficult to find a Tutsi elite enticed back. Because you see, for him, Kagame, a good Tutsi elite is a dead one. Even exile, even being exiled is not good enough. No recruiting, no return, rather death sentence. This is a man who hates himself, the way from his origins. The Tutsis, any Tutsi near him is forced to compare. He says, "This is a man we went together as a refugee in 1959, 60, but he has a PhD, and me, I'm just a money seller." That is what he sees when he sees fellow Tutsi. A Tutsi one, a good Tutsi for Kagame is a dead one. A Hutu or foreigner, he doesn't have to compare himself with them because they don't have the similar legacy. They don't come from the same history. This, in a nutshell, is a man who has himself from origins an inferiority complex of leading Rwanda, country, with the only qualification being changing dollars on the streets of Kampala. I thank you.
If I could respond and say something, if you would allow me. Um,
What do you?
okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. So what I would like to say is,
Who is
I
this?
think
Who is
this is
this?
Cedric Nwari. Cedric Nwari. I'm a member of the Rwanda National Congress. I'm just a normal Rwandan. I think the problem that we have
A
for the
normal,
most.
a normal one, and no, we are all normal Rwandans. You mean? Okay,
I think
oh, okay, go
I think the
ahead.
problem we have as Rwandans is that often I am a Hutu, but I would say is often I think the problem we have is we have not yet discovered that we are actually brothers. We're the same family. Hutus and Tutsis, we're the same people, and often our governments have pitted one another against each other. And we should be careful about not letting our governments do that for centuries. We actually, I would say, I'll give you an example. Like if you were to break down Rwanda from before when it existed, like in the different like little kingdoms existed that when Gasabo took over everything and then became Rwanda. Um, there were some of these small kingdoms who had both Hutus and Tutsis. Some of the small kingdoms that had only Hutus, or some that had Tutsis only. But even you could be surprised. Someone was telling me that in the Nigeria kingdom as well, was saying, oh, no, like that's where my ancestors came from. Someone was telling me this, but he's a Hutu. So I'm like, essentially, we continue to pit one another against each other. At the end of the day, I think the truth is that we need a democracy. We need a country that respects its laws, that has a constitution. We have to change what it means to be Rwanda. It
Okay,
should not be based upon ethnic groups. It should be based upon laws. It should be based upon a thinking that we have together upon like that. If that if any crime is committed against you, whether you are Hutu, whether you're Tutsi, whatever, no, whether you are
Excuse me, Cedric.
yes, go ahead.
I have to ask that we stay strictly on the topic, please.
Yes.
I can respond.
Thank you
I
for
can
that.
respond to
What I
him.
want to put at that too is that, for example, yes, you said Exile Tutsis elite and reintegrated Hutu elites. I think that is the point. Well, actually, I'm still actually on the conversation you're talking about, because I think dictatorships often they begin when they're saying they're trying to protect their own inner group, whatever it is. But often after that, they go and they actually kill inner group. As Dr. Himbara pointed out, there are members who are Tutsi who have been killed by the Kagame regime, even though even though the RPF revolution, which had reasons to happen, they began saying that they were fighting for these Tutsi rights. So I think like exiled Tutsi or like Hutu elites, which I don't know who these people are, but whoever they are, they have to put together and understand that this country is our country, and that if we put together ourselves, we will make sure we have a state that is Rwandan, that is not about being a Hutu, that is not about being a Tutsi or being an or elite, that is not even like the and a lot of us are Christians, but it's about like the even like someone who's actually not.
Can I respond?
Yes, go ahead, David.
Yes. What is this young man's name again? Sorry, I forgot.
Cedric.
Cedric. Yes, Cedric. You are 100% right. You see, the terms Hutu and Tutsi and Twa are really not scientifically proven to mean different people. You know, in fact, during the first census done by the Belgians to determine who the Tutsi and Hutu and Twa were, they determined the definition according to how many cows a person had owned. Anybody who had more than 10 cows was defined as Tutsi. Those who had less were defined as Hutu. In those days, in fact, people who were previously Tutsi could become Hutu if they lost cows and became poor. From the opposite direction, those defined as Hutu but who acquired cattle and became rich became Tutsi. Before the colonial regime, Hutu and Tutsi did not was not an ethnic distinction. It was more of a class distinction. It's the Belgians that froze those distinctions. into tribes, leading to subsequent upheavals. And of course, initially, the Belgian state, which ruled through the kingdom, the king promoted the Tutsi into education and into government. Now, towards independence, as the Africans were beginning to demand independence, the Belgians simply switched around, took their support from the Tutsi, gave their support to Hutu, leading to the death of King Rudahigwa and the collapse of the kingdom and the rise of Kaibanda Parimutu power. Rwanda is the only former colonies, the only former colony that we know of where a regime was given power while still under the colonial rule. Kaibanda captured power under Belgian colonial rule. It was engineered power capture. So, young man, you're right. The distinctions between Hutu and Tutsi are not real. These are not ethnic groups. After all, what is an ethnic group? Ethnic group begins with the culture and language. Behaviors, cultures. Rwandans are all the same. There is no Hutu language. There is no Tutsi language. There is no Twa language. There is the Kenya Rwanda, the language of Rwanda. And Tutsi and Hutu, as I said, before the colonial period, they moved up and down depending on the number of cattle, which was the definition of wealth. So the task before us now, Rwandan political parties, civil society, intellectuals, and so on and so forth. The top task is to dismantle the big lie of my dictatorship. My dictator is better than yours. A dictator is bad, period. And a dictator, the one who says he's ruling in the name of Hutu, when they exit, as in Habyarimana and Kaibanda, the lives of Hutu never improved even one bit. They remain the same in poverty, digging with hoes as the ancestors had done. The Hutu regimes never changed the so-called Hutu circumstances. It's a big lie. As for the Hutu regime, as for the Tutsi regime, I don't even call, as I've said already, I don't consider, Kagame is not a Tutsi regime. Kagame is a Kagame regime, a monstrous killing machine that began killing with refusal to allow the UN forces to come in the large numbers to stop genocide against Tutsi in 1994. Kagame is responsible for that. And then, as the Tutsis were dying, he was also killing the Hutu. The investigation of how many people died has yet to be published, but it's there. The thousands who were massacred, Hutu massacred. So the task before us, my dear friends, is to explain, to, first of all, to ourselves and each other that there is no Hutu Tutsi Twa there. What is there is Rwandans. But the reality, though, begins with the fact that those areas formerly inhabited by the Twa were turned by Kagame into travel business for tourists to come and enjoy, while the Hutus, while the Twas have been almost wiped out. Only 20,000 of them are left. The Hutu and the so-called Hutu and so-called Tutsi are there, but disunited by the falsehood of my dictator is better than yours. Rwanda does not need a dictatorship. It needs good governance led by Rwandan Democrats, good government, business enterprises, creating prosperity, emerging out of poverty and becoming a united Rwanda that my hero, the revolutionary, Fred Rwigema, dreamt of, and not only dreamt of, built its foundation, sustained by Tutsi and Hutu, which was lost when this monster descended upon us and took us back to the days of his great grand aunt, Queen Kanjogera. Can we succeed? As President Obama used to say during his campaign, which seemed impossible. They said, a black man will never form a government in the great United States. Obama's response was, oh, yes, we can. And oh, yes, he led the United States. And oh, yes, and oh, yes, the revolutionary dream of Fred Rwigema, it will prevail. Let me end it.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can. Let me end like this. I remember in 1989 and in 1990, the first month of 1990, all of 1989 and just a little bit of 1990, I was pursuing my PhD at Queen's University in Canada. I was studying Kenya. Kenya was my case study. And I spent that year in Kenya studying the Kenyan economy, the business class, and so on and so forth. In December, that December 1989, a wealthy family, a wealthy Rwandan family in Uganda invited me. I was in Kenya. Invited me to spend Christmas with them. I spent Christmas with them. In the time that I spent with them, that is the time I was fortunate enough to meet Fred Rwigema and Paul Kagame separately. These two men were invited to dinner on separate occasions. The family with whom Kayoboche, the Kayoke family, this is a rich Ugandan family of Rwandan origin, big businessman. That's why I was staying Kayoboche. So on one night he invited Rwigema, and on another night he invited Kagame. And then he told each one, he said, oh, I have this young man. He called me young man, David Himbara, who is doing his PhD in Canada, but he's doing research on Kenya. So please share with him your dreams of Rwanda. So I spent, first of all, I was we were given a half an hour to chat with Rwigema. The half-hour chat between Rwigema and me, it became almost transnight. We could not stop talking. And even though he kept looking at his hour, he says, look, I have duties, I have to go. We talked with Fred Rwigema through the night. I was like a small boy that had seen a miracle. I cried and laughed. I could not let this man go. Said, oh my God, Rwanda finally has a leader. The only wish, I told him, please conclude your business in Uganda nicely and take us back home. And I'll do whatever you like for me to do. Whether to sweep your room, shine your shoes, I'm your servant, you are my hero. Then came Kagame came to dinner again. Then I was once again introduced. We started talking, and guess what? Within the 5 minutes talk, excuse my language. I almost threw up. Total empty head, non-entity. Could not even put two sentences together. Never mind make an argument, an intelligent argument. Zero. I end like this. Rwanda is for Rwandans who speak Kinyarwanda, and as far as I know, scientifically and otherwise, there is only one language, Kinyarwanda, and there is one people, Banyarwanda. And our homework is to wash off, wash off the dirt of our bodies, the soiled, dirty layers on our skin that has been plashed among our minds by the Belgian colonialists and all the regime that came after. We have a task at hand, so let's go ahead and do it. God bless.
Thank you so much, Uncle.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have now Eric and Ngoga and Gabriel. We have Eric and Gabriel. Let's begin with Eric, 2 to 3 minutes, then Gabriel, and then we close our discussion. Eric, the floor is yours.
Yes, Metro Sagara, thank you for the floor. Thank you, Dr. David, Ali, for the someone else who talked, and George. So when I saw this title, Kagame's Politics, Exile, Tutsi Elites, Reintegrate Hutu Elites, I put a message below that the, the, the promotion of the talk, if I remember where, I can go check my account to find it. But it was like what I saw, what I see in Kagame's politics is to try to infiltrate the opposition to weaken, to weaken it. Whatever way he uses, he's going to try to do it. Now, from what I heard,
We put the blame on Kagame all the time, but Kagame, what he does to Rwanda, he's not doing it by himself. He has got all those elites, Tutsi, Hutu, or Twa. I don't know their ethnic groups actually because I did not ask them. But what I see that list of ministers, state ministers, um, permanent secretaries, all those people are in the same boat with Kagame to do whatever it takes to keep Rwandans under the oppression of the family of Kagame. All those people are serving Kagame because Kagame is paying them money. He does not pay Hutus, he does not pay Tutsis alone, he pays that group of people to keep him in power. He pays, these members of the parliaments. They never say nothing about nothing. They're just there sitting, eating the money of our taxes. They say we don't pay taxes there, but we pay money in Rwanda most of the time more than what um, people in Rwanda are contributing. So the problem is, I forgot that from the local government, from district level, sector level, province level, all those people, they are there to maintain Kagame in power. Kagame pay them with our money. And then I don't see Hutus and Tutsi. I see those traitors, those people who are trying to use whatever privilege they have, education, speaking English, I don't know, speaking French, I don't know, coming from a family who was in power before 1994. There are so many different ways Kagame do to choose the people he puts in place, and those people think they deserve to be there. And then to help him oppress all the rest of us. And what I say is that from 1994, we mentioned Fred Rwigema. I don't know, but from the beginning, Kagame was trying to tell the elite Tutsi, hey, this is our country. And then after some time, they realized that no, this is not our country. This is my country. You are just serving me. And then that is when they started to flee the country. That's when they started to say, okay, I'm out of this. I'm gone. And then I believe what you're mentioning about Hutu elites, they're going to realize the same thing. They're going to see that it is not their country neither. It is the country of Kagame. But at the end of the day, what I see is the lack of values from those we call politicians. They are not politicians. They are just servants of that master who is going to use them uh, and put us in this problem, because I feel like this title that you put here is a mistake from your side, because knowing this Justin Nsengiyumva, what I see a traitor. I don't see him as a Hutu because he never mentioned it to me and he never mentioned it in public. And if you put it like this, I really feel like it is a mistake from a political party, because I would analyze it as, okay, so RNC, is it elite Tutsi? Or another thing, this Justin Nsengiyumva was a member of RNC. And then the day he leaves RNC, go to work for Kagame, you say, oh, he is a Hutu elite. I think this is like not a good way to approach the topic, because again, I think you understand that the Rwandan community is listening, is watching, and the thing that we want, as David mentioned, we want to see people say, "Oh, these are Rwandans, and this Kagame is doing, infiltrating the opposition, using bad ways of doing politics." That is what we have to fight. We don't have to fight laboring names or anything, because that is where Kagame wants us to go. We should not go there. We should be focused on reuniting, working together, trying to achieve what any decent country have. Not seeing me like, oh, he is an elite something. I'm not an elite something. My ideas, my point of views are not related to whoever I am, they're related to a citizen who wants the best for my country, who wants the best for my neighbors, who wants the best for all of us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eric. I think I will ask David to say something on this because it looks like we are in an era that, in a struggle that we need to call a spade a spade. It looks like some people feel offended when we say someone is a Hutu or someone is a Tutsi, and some people feel offended. But to me, I think
Mr. Rusagara, I want to say here, I am I'm saying it an analysis. Don't say I'm not offended. I'm not offended. I gave my point of view on what I see. That is the thing.
Eric,
Thank you very
I didn't
much.
say you're offended. I
Yeah, that is.
I heard you saying saying something, and I made a comment. I said some people. I didn't mention your name. Dave, do you want to say something? Or
Yes, please.
go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. This man has this. What is his name? Sorry,
Eric.
Eric
Eric.
Ngoga.
Yeah,
Eric Ngoga. What is your background, Eric Ngoga?
In which aspect?
Well, any aspect. Well, if you ask me,
Well, I
ask.
am a Rwandan, born in Rwanda, raised in Rwanda, worked in Rwanda, was a university lecturer in Rwanda, and for some reasons, I'm no longer in Rwanda because I cannot sustain a country where people are, as Mr. Sagara says, when a spade is a spade, you have to say it like that in a conversation without saying, like, okay, I'm offending anybody, but because you want to contribute to a discussion that is bringing together people. Thank you.
Okay, what is your scholarship? What did you study in the university? I'm just curious.
Yes, I am a physicist, and my bachelor's degree, and I have a master's in environmental sciences. And yeah.
Oh, excellent. And you so you're in exile. You live overseas,
Yep.
not in
Yeah.
Canada by any
Like,
chance?
no. I live in the United States.
Oh, okay. There you are. There you are. So we're neighbors. I'm in Canada.
Yeah,
Whereabouts are
I
you?
know
I'm in
that.
Toronto. Whereabouts are you?
I'm Dayton, Ohio. So
So
this
you're
is
not
an
very
interesting thing.
far.
No, I'm not very far. I'm very close.
Well, you
And
see.
this is, yeah, what I wanted to mention about this, mentioning who I am. It is one of the things that I really did from my activism is to be I want just people to realize we have to go out here and say what, as again, spade is spade. Something is bad, it is bad. Something is good, it is good. Really, uh, again, I want to come back on this. Even if I would like to say, oh, this Hutu guy, elite, went back to Rwanda, I will never say that because that would put me in a very dangerous game. I will not be
Oh,
able to go
now,
out. Thank you.
now, let me speak. You spoke. Okay, yeah. So we are neighbors. So you see, the reason I'm asking is the way we are going to come out of these traps is really engaging one another and building bridges and building bridges to achieve our alternative, our ultimate goal, which is to have one identity, one identity. Rwandans are Rwandans, not Hutu, Tutsi, and Twa. I went through all that to show how that came about. It's not scientific at all. These are labels that have stuck. However, having said that, we can't wish away these labels. You can't. Uh, the moment say, oh, I left Rwanda as a baby in 1959. Oh, already I'll be known as a Tutsi, whether I like it or not. There's nothing that I can do about that because that is how history has shaped us. Um, if I hear somebody who has been enticed back to Rwanda and acquiring back their businesses they had lost in the 90s during the war, I will know that for sure that person either Hutu or Tutsi who lived in Rwanda. These labels are there, whether you and I like it or not. Nsengimana, rather than Nsengiyumva, being tested back. Quickly you research, say, oh, he was a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, fled, and is promised his properties back. Already the label goes there. The label goes there. Uh, Kayumba Nyamwasa survives three assassination attempts. Oh, he was in RPF with the Kagame, they were in the same army. Oh, so he's a tooth exile. So we have to work through these labels as we build a new identity. Let me show you how difficult it is. How would I pay tribute to Rwigema and what he did without mentioning that he mobilized these Hutu leaders under difficult conditions? See, you see there, when I say Rwigema mobilized the Hutu leaders, that credit goes to two people. The Hutu exile and the Hutu insiders who agreed to share a vision of building a united identity called Rwandans. So, because of our history, our main project is to look at these labels, use them to educate ourselves to become something better, Rwandans. But you see, as a scientist, you can't jump the stage. You can't reach point B without addressing what is at departure A. So your sentiment is a beautiful notion, is the ideal. But for now, we have to use the tools we have. We have to analyze what it is. Some people grew up outside Rwanda from 59. You
Can
can't
I
take
answer on that after?
no. I think we must go beyond now. Let me just finish. So if you want, we can continue offline. That's why I wanted to know where you are. But so people, the people who left Rwanda, me, including me, in 59, we were called Tutsi. We were Tutsi exile. That is the history. Those who stayed behind, we know for sure that the Tutsis were suppressed, the Hutus were not. And this is why, again, you see, this is why this division you see, it's not a bad thing in another way. Here is this gives me an opportunity to show you and to celebrate another hero of mine, Prime Minister Rwigema, who was the Minister of Education and briefly President after Habyarimana was murdered. This beautiful woman took it upon herself to say, I am a Rwandan leader, the Minister of Education. As of now, the Tutsi children that were previously denied entry into education is removed, and every Rwandan child gets education. See, I can't establish her heroism without distinguishing what she was, a Hutu leader going against a Hutu regime in the interest of the people of Rwanda. So, in other words, we have to deal with a nasty president as we emerge, build a new, recover our identity, and then call a spade a spade. They will say, ah, Kagame is is exiling just one elite and is reintegrating another without labels. We have yet to reach there. Lusagara, I think we've said enough for today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Uncle. And Ari said he wants to say something. Ari can have 2 minutes. Ari, you're
Who?
on mute.
Who is that?
It's Ali. He's not
Oh,
there.
okay. Yeah.
No, I'm
All right,
here.
2 minutes,
Sorry.
please.
No, I won't take long. Even 2 minutes is long enough. First of all, I thank Eric for contributing daily, and now I can understand he's an academic. So and he lived in Rwanda, so he knows and feels better than some of us who lived in Rwanda a long time ago. David, thank you for giving a response, but mine I will give mine in only one sentence, and I'll say in Kinyarwanda, then translate it. The Kinyarwanda saying is this: Ngushaka kuvura indwara arayirata. Indwara, the disease, the one, if you want to treat a disease, you have to display it and make sure that everybody knows that this disease is there. What disease do we have in Rwanda that David has tried to put there? We have a disease of racism or ethnicity. Actually, we are one race, ethnicity. It is a disease which our leaders, because of being ideologically bankrupt, hide behind to achieve their narrow achievements or their narrow targets. It is ethnicity that was used in 1959 that resulted in uprooting of the Tutsi people, those who were either in leadership or who were not. Even the peasant Tutsis were all uprooted. It is ethnicity that resulted in 1973 people dying. It is regionalism that resulted in 1973 again, people dying, because in 1973 they wanted to wipe out the remaining Tutsis. Then Habyarimana stood up claiming he wants to stop it. And instead for him, he used regionalism to kill the same Hutus, same ethnicity, but who are in power. You cannot deny this. You have to display it. You have to show it so that it can be. You can find a cure for it. You have to discuss it and call it what it is. It is ethnicity that in 1994 resulted in the catastrophes we have, where one ethnic group, the victors, have had justice, and those who lost, the Hutus, haven't had justice. The victors were Tutsis, they had justice, and theirs was called Tutsi genocide. The Hutus, they haven't had justice up to today. Whoever raises a head is called a genocide denier. Even Victor Ingabire, who was in Holland during the genocide, is called a genocider or a daughter of a genocider, when actually her father became one of the mayors of the first RPF government, and was even stood for being a member of parliament on RPF ticket. But the daughter is now being called akana kaka genocideri, agakobwa kaka genocideri, because she's Hutu. Denying that or hiding from that is kutarata ndwara, and that ndwara will kill you. You will perpetually be in that ndwara. David sums it very, very, very well and he has done it for many times. But where he was very eloquent is where he wrote a letter to Kizito Mihigo. That was the first time he coined the word, "My dictator is better than yours." Me, the time David called that, me, I have always, and I continue to call it, kana kamama gashingiye ku bwoko cyangwa gashingiye ku karere. This is our disease. It is, we are suffering because of that and many other things. But that is key. And it is something that is so simple, we can remove it by appreciating that we are one person, like Cedric was trying to say. Cedric Nwari, our vice coordinator, our second vice coordinator, when he was saying we are one person. But saying that we are one person and not accepting that that is a disease we have is our biggest mistake. And Eric, much as I respect your thinking and ideal of saying we should be above that, I will tell you, if Dr. Justin Senjumva was not a Hutu, Kagame wouldn't have hired him. They wouldn't have even approached him. But they approached him because of his ethnicity, so that they ride on that majoritarianism of the Hutu to win over this, but also to use them to show that, you see, the Hutus are in government. They are the Hutus they are going to use to go and sign to kill the FDR. If they use the Nduhungirehe, now they use the Justin Senjumva to sign that the FDR should be killed, it will be okay. We have to wake up. We have to think in a smarter and better way in order to stop this monster. The one who was rightly called evil genius, to unearth and put his evil intentions out there. Like his predecessors, they should not hide behind ethnicity, because the issue is not ethnicity, the issue is those who misuse it. Urakoze cyane, Metere.
Thank you so much, Ari. Then let's hear from Gabriel.
Yes, thanks, Rusagara, and GM for co-hosting this discussion, and also Dr. David Imbara for helping us understand, Rwandan history and some other questions that people have been posing. I have a question regarding the political vision or the revolutionary vision of Freddy Rwigema. So when I searched through the internet, there appears to be no public record of any political or revolutionary writing authored by himself. So, given his central role in launching the RPF's invention and his enduring presence in Rwandan national memory, how should we interpret this absence? So, does it reflect a deliberate prioritization of action over ideology, a collective rather than individual authorship of RPF's vision, or has his ideological contribution been retrospectively constructed by others? So, in Himbara's view, what was Rwigema's actual political vision, given that he has said that he spoke to him? Is there anywhere where we can meaningfully trace his writings? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I have committed myself to reading the Rwandan history from ground up, as per Dr. David Himbara's 10 points of advice. So Musinga is very famous, famously avoided written agreements with colonial powers. Anything to do with writing, they will tell him, if you want to talk with us, let's put everything in writing. Let's communicate. Let's have correspondence so that we can have materials to refer to should we have any kind of misagreement or any kind of disputes. But Musinga tried his level best to avoid those kind of writing. So I'm just thinking, I'm thinking about this because also there is no any type of document that we can refer to when it comes to talking about Rwigema's vision for Rwanda, and also when it comes to talking about Kagame's also vision. We can only tell Kagame's vision for Rwanda from his actions, from his killings, and all of that. Papers are there, but they are held within the RPF. But when it comes to this particular individual, is there any written document that we can refer to say, okay, this was Rwigema's political view, this was his revolutionary stand, that anyone or any Rwandan or anyone researching about him can point to and come to the conclusions of theirs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, I should be embarrassed by that question. And Rwigema, wherever you are, please forgive me. And please forgive other scholars who have let you down. You are a brilliant mind. You spoke volumes, public speeches, interviews, about your experience as a revolutionary in Tanzania, in Mozambique, and your contribution to the Anna RM Bush War that ended the old regimes that fed on dead Ugandans. You freed them. Fred Rwigema, we even had a wonderful meeting. You even allowed me to take notes. And yet, dear Fred, it's been more than 35 years since you were stolen from us. And yet, not even one book, credible book, bears your name. Rest well, Comrade Fred. You can be proud, however, that your memory, your actions and achievements continue to spread like wildfire, meaning that you don't need a book to remind the world of who you are. Your actions spoke for themselves. Who else could have united the actors of the regime in Rwanda and the revolutionaries in exile, including yourself, to build a foundation for a future Rwanda? That foundation, my dear brother, is written in stone. Yes, we delayed. We write the books. We will write the books. But meanwhile, you light fire when Kagame recruits a man he hunted out of Rwanda to become his prime minister. Guess what the first thought comes in my head or in most people's head? You know what, Fred? They say, oh, I wish Fred was here. Adi, Rusagara, and colleagues, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share today. And the struggle continues.
Can I add something, Mitri? Please. Mitri, do you hear
Yeah,
me? I think David has
yeah.
finished.
Let's Ngoga have 1 minute, and then I'll say something for 2 minutes, and then we
Mm,
close the debate.
No, no, I wanted just to answer. I just wanted to point at something which Gabriel has rightly asked, but which is normally ignored. Please. Is that a yes?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Gabriel, thank you very much. And how are you doing? Thanks for a very, very thoughtful question, which I think has triggered David's mind. And I hope the way I know him, maybe he will put something together. But I will point you to something, and that's why I asked. I'm sure you know that RPF had what they call the 8-point program. And those 8-point programs encapsulated all, they just represented the vision, the true vision of Rwigema. These were the things that when they are training young cadres, when I mean young cadres, I mean some some young people who were in their 14th year, 15th year, 16th year, 17th, 18th, the under 20s. They would during school holidays would have sort of camps and workshops where they were taught all these 8 programs. So to think that Rwigema never left a vision, I think would be wrong. Maybe it is not declared that this is Rwigema's vision, because Rwigema, in his thinking, was a type of who thought he would work as a team, and therefore his vision was a vision he had to share with others. Then it became every Rwandan's vision, at least Rwandans who had seen through it, who had been taught about it, and who believed in it. So it is just summarized into the 8-point programs of the RPF, which they at the beginning of RPF, that was the thing, and then they added the 9th one. But you all know that because the legendary or the revolutionary had died, and others were also put aside, all that got lost, because one key one was to stop refugees. No Rwandan should be a refugee anymore, and Rwandans continue to be refugees until today. The number increased. It was about to trading and making sure all Rwandans enjoy from the trade or from the benefits of development. You see that now some Rwandans are kicked out of even the meager sources they have. Others grab them and they become richer when others are becoming poorer. So this disparity among Rwandans is on record, and I think there are claims that Rwanda is the most it has the highest difference into the rich and the poor coefficients. So there are so many, but they are all summarized into the 8-point program. That was the vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ali. Brothers and sisters, comrade, as we come to the close of tonight's powerful and deeply necessary conversation,
I was supposed to be
I
given time.
I sincerely
My
want
one
to
minute.
I sincerely want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you who joined us. Your presence and engagement show that the struggle for a free, just and inclusive Rwanda is not in vain. So this evening, we are reminded of the historical betrayal of Fred Rwigema's vision, a vision built on broad-based unity, dignity, and shared purpose. That noble project has been hijacked by a regime that replaced hope with fear and unity with manipulation. We thank you, Dr. David, not only for his rich insights tonight, but especially for your commitment to documenting Rwigema's legacy in a book. That contribution will be vital in preserving the truth of Rwanda's history and honoring those who sacrificed for a better future. Let us take with us this truth. True unity does not come from pretending differences do not exist. It comes from acknowledging them, confronting them, and build trust through transparency and inclusion. Insisting that we are just Rwandans while ignoring the ethnic wounds and imbalances that continue to shape our reality only serves to protect the status quo. And that status quo is built on exclusion, denial, control, not on genuine reconciliation. So as we end this space, let us carry forward the courage to speak the truth, the humility to reflect, and the determination to keep building what was once dreamed, a Rwanda where no one is exiled, silenced, or erased. Thank you all. Good night. May God bless you.
May He bless you too, and bless everyone. Thank you.
All pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Oh, have no fear for atomic energy. 'Cause none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs. All I ever have, redemption songs. These songs of freedom, songs of freedom. We refuse to be what you wanted us to be. We are what we are. That's the way it's going to be. If you don't know, you can't educate or no equal opportunity. Talking about freedom, people freedom and liberty. Yeah, we've been trying not to find ways much too long. Cause we've been trying not to find ways much too long. Babylon system is a vampire. Sucking the children day by day. Yes, the Babylon system is a vampire. Sucking the blood of the soul. Yeah. Building church and university. Oh, yeah. Deceiving the people continually. Rocking the fields and birds of us. Look out now, they're sucking the blood of the sufferer. Tell the children the truth. Tell the children the truth. Tell the children the truth right now. Come on, yeah. Tell the children. Tell the children. And tell God, we've been trying on your mind. But you long, we've been taking for granted. But you long, we've been riding on the what you one love, one love. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying, hear the children crying, saying, "Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright." Saying, "Let's get together and feel alright." Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let them out back from the turn to remind. There is one question I really love to ask. Is there a place for all hopeless sinners who has hurt all of mankind? Just save their soul, believe one. Together, feel alright. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Alright. And now feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Almost there. Let's get together to fight this young the young one. So when the man's done, there will be no doom. One song, a pity whose chances grow stale. They ignite things from the Father of creation. Yeah, yeah. Let's get together and feel alright. And celebrate the Lord. Feel alright. Let's get together to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us for today's discussion. Before we begin, I would like to invite everyone to take a moment for a prayer. Brothers and brothers and sisters, let us come together in a spirit of unity and purpose. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with gratitude in our hearts for the gift of life, the courage to speak truth, and the opportunity to gather in pursuit of justice and freedom. We ask for your guidance in our conversation. Grant us wisdom to understand, compassion to listen, and strength to speak with clarity and conviction. We remember those who are suffering under the repression and those who have lost their lives in the struggle for a better Rwanda. May their sacrifices never be forgotten. Bless our speakers with clarity of thought and our listeners with open hearts. May this discussion be one of respect, truth, and hope. We entrust this discussion, dear Lord, into your hands. Amen. Brothers and sisters, dear comrades, before we begin, as usual, I would like to share a few housekeeping rules to help us maintain order, focus, and respect throughout today's discussion. One, I would like to remind you that this space is being recorded for documentation and educational purposes. So by participating, you acknowledge and receive this. This space also will be conducted exclusively in English. We request each and everyone who engages or who speaks to keep the comments and questions strictly related to the topic of discussion. And we encourage open dialogue, but no insults, no personal attacks, or hate speech will be tolerated. So let's keep this conversation civil and constructive. For the audience, there will be a time for the members to engage, but later in this program. Then, when invited to speak, so please be concise and to the point. We kindly ask everyone to limit remarks to a maximum of 3 to 5 minutes. And lastly, if you're brought up to speak, please ensure you are in a quiet place and mute your mic when not speaking. Thank you for your cooperation. And now let's move into the heart of the discussion. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this important conversation titled Kagame's Politics, Exile Tutsi Elites, Reintegrate Hutu Elites. I'm Advocate Ignacio Sagara, for those who don't know me. I'm the spokesperson of the Rwanda National Congress, and I'm honored to be the host and the moderator at the same time of this discussion. Today, we gather here to examine a troubling strategy that has defined President Paul Kagame's rule, a calculated use of ethnic manipulation to consolidate and maintain absolute power. Since taking office in 1994, one of the most cynical tools Kagame has used is the exploitation of Rwanda's tragic ethnic history to silence dissent and maintain absolute control. One striking pattern is how Kagame has turned against Tutsi elites, including those who fought with him during the struggle. From the brutal assassinations of Asieri Kabera and Kagwa Rwisereka to the murder of Patrick Karegeya in South Africa and the repeated assassinations attempt on General Kayumba Nyamwasa, the message is chillingly clear. Kagame tolerates no dissent, even from within his own ranks. Men like you, Comrade David, Joseph Severins, and others, you are now living in exile for speaking out or refusing to submit. While Kagame expels and eliminates Tutsi elites, he has adopted a seemingly contradictory approach towards certain Hutu elites, especially those who once opposed him. In a calculated move, he has welcomed back several former Hutu exiles and granted them powerful positions in government. Those include, but not limited to, Olivier Nduhungirehe, current Minister of Foreign Affairs, who once served as a spokesperson of ALIR, the armed movement that later became FDLR. Pierre Celestin Rwigema, a former prime minister who lived in exile in the United States, Evode Uwizeyimana, once a vocal critic of the regime in exile in Canada, later appointed as state minister for constitutional and legal affairs, and he's now a senator. Major General Paul Rwarakabije, a founding member and commander of FDLR, who was reintegrated into the Rwandan army. And now, the most recent and shocking example, Dr. Justin Senjumva, a former asylum seeker in the United Kingdom and an active member of the Rwandan National Congress, has been appointed Rwanda's new prime minister under Kagame's regime. This is not a mere coincidence. It is a deliberate policy using cooptation to neutralize Hutu elites while crushing Tutsi dissenters to prevent any challenge from within. Today, we will explore how Kagame's strategy of cynic manipulation serves to entrench dictatorship, suppress genuine opposition, and maintain a facade of inclusivity. We will also examine the implications this has on the struggle for a truly democratic Rwanda. With us to delve into this complex and sensitive subject, two speakers who bring personal experience and deep insight, Dr. David Himbara and Mr. Ali Abdukarim. Our first speaker will be Dr. David Himbara. Dr. David Himbara served as a principal private secretary to President Paul Kagame and has also served as the head of strategy and policy in the Rwandan presidency. Dr. David is a respected scholar and public intellectual. He's now living in exile in Canada, having fled Rwanda after falling out with the regime over its repressive and undemocratic practices. As a Tutsi elite, once at the center of the power, his insights into Kagame's inner circle, and the systematic dismantling of Tutsi elites will help to shed light on the regime's tactics of control and repression. The second speaker will be Mr. Abdukarim Ali. Mr. Ali is the first vice chairman of the Rwanda National Congress, an opposition political organization operating in exile. He brings a deep understanding of the Rwandan opposition struggle for democracy and justice. Mr. Ali will focus his remarks on the recent case of Dr. Justin Senjumva, a former Rwanda National Congress member who has joined the very regime the movement opposes. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dr. David and Mr. Ali Abdukarim. We are grateful for their presence and look forward to their reflections on this very important subject. Let's now begin by hearing from Dr. David Himbara. Dr. David Himbara, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Maitre Rusagara, for your kind invitation. It's my pleasure once again to share this platform you provide for democratic forces to reflect on our current predicaments and future. I begin by making this statement that in order for anyone to understand Kagame's exercise of power, leading the Rwandan Patriotic Front RPF, one must first understand Fred Rwigema's vision, purpose, and extraordinary accomplishments. This is the founder of RPF and its first leader. You must understand him before we can understand today. You must understand yesterday before we can understand today. Rwigema, bless his heart, placed Rwanda on a roadmap of forming a united, democratic, and prosperous Rwanda. Sadly, and excuse me for using this terminology, sadly, Kagame flushed all that, Rwigema's effort, into the toilet. Rwigema's vision and purpose of Rwanda's Patriotic Front, RPF, was a Rwanda led by a government of national unity and institutions reflecting Rwanda's ethnicity of Hutu Tutsi Twa. To achieve this, Rwigema successfully built a unified leadership that would achieve his vision and purpose. Rwigema succeeded spectacularly, to put it mildly. Absolutely. Bless his heart. How did he do that? First, he mobilized Hutu leaders which was undoubtedly a challenge given the history of dictatorship in Rwanda that separated Rwandans inside and outside in exile. Rwigema was not fazed by that. He mobilized Hutu leaders, beginning with Alexis Kanyarengwe, who later became the chairman of RPF. Rwigema mobilized Pastor Bizimungu, who later became the president of Rwanda. Rwigema recruited others, very, very prominent personalities, great leaders, including Setinso Nashonga, who later became the interior minister. Looking back, really, one must understand, one must question, wow, how did Rwigema envision this? And how in the world did he achieve this mobilization of Hutu leaders and convince them that Rwanda deserved the participation of all its people? The more I think about this, the more extraordinary